Hello everyone. Today I am going to be sharing with you the best nutrition strategy and way to hone your diet so that you can maximize your performance in endurance-based sports with a focus on long-distance running. I'm Jake Abdenor. I am a 252 marathoner. I have a bachelor's of science in kinesiology from Penn State University with a heavy focus on sports nutrition. And I worked for about 5 years as a NSCA certified personal trainer. Today's video will not feature some crazy secret weight loss formula. I will be giving you practical tools, advice, and research-backed information on how to maximize your running potential, encompassing 3 main points. Point number 1, the best overall diet for endurance runners. Point number 2, foods that support that diet. And point number 3, practical strategies for how to implement that diet for normal people like you and me. It's Tuesday. Take a seat. Let's have a training talk. Guys, I know there is a ton of information out there about diet and nutrition. It can be really confusing, conflicting, and honestly disheartening when you look at all of it. One person says this, another person says this. I don't want that to happen. I want to share the information that I've gleaned over the years from professional resources, and I will share these links with you in the description below. So everything I talk about, I'll link below, and you can fact check me, okay? So when you guys are here, this, these, all of this, or you are here, you feel confident and knowledgeable in your dietary choices. So that way when you line up on race day or you're about to throw down for a really hard workout, you feel that you've done everything you could and everything correctly to best support your running goals so that you can achieve, so that you can maximize your running potential. Okay, some quick legal stuff. I am not a doctor. I am not a registered dietitian. The information I am providing today is just advice, and I will share research studies and periodicals that I've found. My advice is not intended to prescribe or treat or cure or diagnose any diseases or anything like that, okay? Please, before you make any radical changes to your diet, please consult a physician and or a registered dietitian. Just as a side note, this episode will not go into eating strategies to increase or decrease your weight. So weight loss, weight gain will not be covered in this week's episode. I'll probably cover it in next week's episode. Today will be purely focused on the overall dieting or eating strategy to maximize performance, not specifically focusing on weight, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. The best overall diet for endurance athletes with a focus on runners. When we run, our running muscles use glycogen to propel us forward. We basically always need muscle glycogen to continue to run. You know, in the marathon, when people say they hit the wall or they bonked, that is when you run out of muscle glycogen. So it's important that we kind of always have muscle glycogen ready to go. So you're telling me inside of our muscles we have glycogen and that gives them energy to do stuff? That's exactly what I'm saying. So let's work backwards. So how do we get glycogen in our muscles? We need glucose to be converted to glycogen. Glucose, ever heard of blood sugar? So we got muscle glycogen, okay, I need that. Glucose gets converted into muscle glycogen, okay. So what gets converted into glucose? Well, the simplest macronutrient to convert into glucose is carbohydrate. So carbohydrates are super easy for us to convert into glucose. They actually start getting digested in our mouths, which is pretty unique. So research has shown, and this is research that I will put again in the links below, so just click if you want to know more about that. For endurance athletes, endurance runners, a diet that's around 60% carbs, 30% fat, 10% protein is like around there is generally the best that'll kind of fulfill our needs as runners. Now, everybody has a different body. Everybody will have different specific adaptations and responses and requirements. So it's kind of like an overall guideline. But by far and away, because we burn a ton of muscle glycogen, because that is the energy that is most easily available to our working muscles, it makes sense to have more carbohydrate in our diet if we're doing intense endurance sports. Pretty much any race from a 400 on up to the full marathon. Now, anything over a marathon is kind of a different story, and we won't jump into that in this video. So 60, 30, 10, or maybe like a 70, 20, 10. Very high in carbohydrates, 60 to 70%, and then fats, and then proteins are actually kind of our least required macronutrient. And I'll explain why. We definitely need healthy dietary fats to kind of keep our hormones in balance. One of the key hormones is testosterone. If we don't have enough fat in our diet, actually our testosterone levels will start to decrease. So protein is obviously important as well because it helps us rebuild muscles. Because we break down our muscles, we need to rebuild them. But then also, if we don't get enough protein in our diet, our bodies will actually use the protein that's already on our bodies, which means muscle tissue. Our body will actually start to pull amino acids for energy. And you're kind of always doing this. Usually it's about 1 or 2% at rest, but during exercise it can be more. We just need to make sure that we're getting enough protein during the day. So the RDA for protein is 8 grams per kilogram of body weight that you weigh. But for endurance athletes like runners, and again I'll link this in the description below, usually a little higher at about 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight is sufficient to meet our needs. We usually don't really need any more than that. Bodybuilders and powerlifters might need 2 grams per kilogram of body weight, or 2.5. But for endurance athletes, usually 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight is totally sufficient. If you eat more protein, it's not really going to do you any harm, but you could be getting those extra calories in the form of carbohydrate, which as we discussed, will help your running a lot more than protein will. Okay, so we just covered the best overall diet for runners to have. We want to make sure our primary fuel source is carbohydrate, and then we want to, of course, consume dietary fats followed by dietary proteins. 60, 30, 10. Boom. Now let's discuss some healthy foods that'll help us support that diet. But first, I know this can be kind of confusing when you go into a grocery store. What do I buy? What food's the healthiest? What food's the healthiest? What food's the But I thought that white sugar. What is white sugar? What is an agave? What about chocolate? Kind of magical tool that completely analyzes the food and tells you exactly what it's composed of. And it was mandated by the government to be put on every single piece of food so that you could look at the food before you buy it so that you know what you're getting into. It's the nutrition label. This is gold, and I'm going to explain it to you in 30 seconds. Ready, go! First thing I always do whenever I get a new food, I'm like, looks tasty, and I flip it. I want to see the good stuff. It's going to be divided into 4 chunks. The first chunk is at the top. This is your serving size and your calories per. So it'll tell you what one serving is, 55 grams or a cup or 8 ounces or whatever, and how many calories per serving. The next chunk right here, we'll discuss the macronutrients. So the macronutrients are fat, carbohydrate, and protein. There's 3 macronutrients. Saturated fat, trans fat, those are types of fat. Dietary fibers, sugars, those are types of carbohydrate. Cholesterol and sodium, those are not considered macronutrients. The next chunk are the micronutrients. Those are all your vitamins. So vitamin A, calcium, iron, vitamin C, vitamin B12. The next chunk is the ingredient list. The first ingredient on the ingredient list is the ingredient that is most prevalent in that food. This almond milk, the primary ingredient is almond milk, which is basically filtered water with a dash of almonds. These Trader Joe's crunchy lentil curls. The primary ingredient is lentil flour. So when you're buying juice, what's the first ingredient label? Is it sugar or is it water? Probably not the best juice. So that was our crash course on nutrition labels. So when you're in the grocery store, when you're in your kitchen, try and pick healthy foods that will support your goals as a runner. I say healthy in quotes because that's a really subjective word, and I really don't like people saying this is healthy, this is unhealthy, because every food has different meanings and implications to different people. Some people are trying to gain weight for wrestling. Some people are trying to lose weight for dancing. And different foods will be healthy for them. Some people are intolerant to certain foods. Healthy is a really big word, and we're not going to go into that today. So the research is a little shaky on this, and there is no all-inclusive answer. When you're picking foods, try to maybe pick foods that might be a little more natural than others. So instead of getting lentil chips, maybe get lentils. Instead of getting almond milk, maybe get almonds. Something that's a little more kind of close to the source. The world isn't going to be over if you have a cupcake. It's okay, relax.
Oh, cupcake's so good.
Okay, but maybe it makes sense to pick foods that are a little more natural or close to the source than others. Again, the research isn't conclusive on this. So do what you think's best. So for good, healthy carbohydrate sources, we have fruits, we have vegetables, white rice, brown rice, pasta, whole wheat pasta, regular pasta. Sweet potatoes are really good for you. So think of it this way, the more close to the source the food is, the more complete the food source will be. Complete means that it's gonna have more nutrients in it. So if we take our lentil chips, when you actually eat the lentil bean, you're getting extra things with those beans. You're getting some phytonutrients, you're getting some fiber, and you're getting a whole list of other stuff. If I have sweet potato chips versus actually eating sweet potatoes, the sweet potatoes are gonna have a lot more extra stuff in it that'll be better for you. So why not eat the thing that's gonna have more healthy stuff in it, to make it really simple, okay? For healthy fats, we've got olive oils, canola oil, we've got nuts, peanuts, almonds, cashews. For proteins, we have lean meats, chicken, fish, steak, all that good stuff. But in general, I would just recommend, think about the global aspect of your diet. You need to have more carbohydrates more than anything else, right? Think of foods that are going to be healthier than others to help fulfill that. Think of things that you can swap out for real foods. So French fries for real potatoes. Orange juice for actual oranges, lentil chips for actual lentils, protein powder for actual protein sources like chicken or steak or fish. So that is how to pick the best foods to support your runner's diet. Try to find foods that are a little more natural, less processed, maybe not in a package. So now for our third point, probably the most important aspect of this, practical ways or strategies on how to implement this runner's diet into your lifestyle. Because if it's not easy, if you can't do it, then it's worthless. There's no point in doing it. Okay, look, don't stress about this. Go out to dinner with your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, have some beers on the weekend, eat some ice cream, enjoy your life, enjoy yourself. But when you do this, try and keep the overall frame of your running goals in mind. So maybe that means picking chicken pesto over a huge rack of prime rib. Maybe that means having 2 beers instead of 5. Maybe that means having 1 bowl of ice cream instead of 3. Frame your goal in your mind and put it in like the long-term picture. It's 4 months of training, not 4 days of training. It's 4 months of good eating, not 4 days of good or bad eating. So relax. If you have a day where you eat more than you usually do or you eat worse foods than you normally would, it's okay, relax. Just think of the long-term picture. That's the most important thing. So that's the first strategy. My second strategy, if you have a hard time controlling like what you eat, like these chips, if I have things like this in my house, I eat all of it. It's a battle between my mind and my stomach. And the score is like 1 to 5 trillion. My stomach always wins. So in my house, I don't have stuff like that. I have ingredients. I have flour, I have sugar, I have rice, I have like chicken breasts. I have things that I cook if I get hungry. And if there's something specific that I want or specific that I'm craving, then I'll have to go out and buy it or go out to the grocery store and buy it. So usually what that means is if I decide last minute I don't want to go out and buy that food, maybe it was something that I really didn't need in the first place. That's my second tip, having less extraneous food lying around the house for you to kind of snack and binge on. My third tip would be if you do want to have snacks lying around the house, try and make them healthier snacks like fruits and vegetables. So that way if you get kind of, you want to snack on something, then you can just kind of pick at apples or oranges or bananas. So that usually kind of helps because fruits and vegetables also have fiber, which can kind of make you feel fuller. And hey, guess what? They're full of great carbohydrates and also some micronutrients and phytochemicals and stuff. And my fourth and last tip is, if you have one of those addictive personalities, kind of like I do, use a food tracker. I'll put mine on screen. This is Lose It. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I've just been using them for a few years. But a food tracker is a great way to basically keep you accountable. It takes 10 seconds to add a food into this app. So there's other food tracking apps out there like MyFitnessPal. They allow you to scan the barcode of a food you buy so you can it puts in all the information like immediately. Again, this is just a great way to keep you accountable because it shows you something visually. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm eating 100 calories, you can actually see on a pie chart, oh, I've eaten 100 calories. This is how many calories I have left in my day. Or this is the percentage of my diet that has been carbohydrates today. It's only been 40%. I should maybe eat a little more carbs. So a food tracker is a great option. So Lose It is free, MyFitnessPal is free, and there's a few others on the App Store. All right, so to wrap it up, we talked about the best overall diet for endurance running. That's our 60-30-10. But the percentage can change a little bit. Just focus on the fact that carbohydrates should be your primary energy source. Number 2, we talked about healthy foods that will help support this diet. Essentially trying to find naturally occurring food sources and swapping out maybe packaged foods or more processed foods. Have a little more nutrients, they may make you feel better, more complete source of food. Number 3, and probably the most important, these are practical ways to implement this runner's diet. The big one is just relax and don't take it too crazy seriously. You need to enjoy yourself, enjoy your life. Just think of the global context, think of the long-term strategy with your running. Remember, it's about 4 to 6 months of training and eating, not 4 to 6 days. So it's okay to have a few bad days here and there. Just be honest with yourself and think about how you're doing long-term. Some ways to kind of help you be accountable are going to be a food tracker. This will show you visually every day how you're doing on calories and your macronutrients, but you can also visually see your weight loss or weight gain progress. You can see your kind of average macronutrient intake over time. So, over the past 4 months, have you mostly been eating carbohydrates or fat or whatever? Some other strategies are maybe having, if you have trouble controlling yourself, maybe keeping less extraneous food lying around like cookies, crackers, and stuff like that. And if you do want to have something to munch on, then maybe have some healthy fruits. Last thing I'll say about this is that nutrition for runners is extremely important. So food selection as well as sleep are 2 of the probably most neglected things that runners do that have a huge effect on your performance. So really give this nutrition thing some thought. So take what I said, look at the links below, look at the research. I encourage you guys to check out Google Scholar. That's a database where you can search Google for scholarly articles, basically like peer-reviewed research articles. So you can really check out whether something is like a legit source of information. And I also encourage you, whenever you hear something new involving diet and nutrition, because the industry can be filled with lots of misinformation and different opinions, I encourage you guys to double check everything you hear. So again, I'll provide resources for that in the links below. But nutrition is a science. Commercial, and it has the line, "This statement has not been approved by the FDA." That means that statement has not been proven true by the Federal Department of Agriculture, which is kind of a big deal. So if something says this will help you lose weight and look great, but it hasn't been proved at all, chances are that's just a big marketing tool. So really be careful, double check your sources. When you read something online, when you hear something on YouTube, double check it and use those links below. Really be sure of what you're kind of eating. And over time, I promise your confidence will build with this. Your confidence in choosing foods. When you go into the grocery store, you'll say, oh, I definitely want this, this, and this. I don't want this, this, and this. When you're out at restaurants, you'll feel more comfortable ordering different types of food because you'll have educated yourself. You'll know what you're putting into your body, which is a hugely important thing to do, right? So hopefully it kind of helped start you guys off on this self-educational journey. and I encourage you to continue to educate yourselves. All right, guys, so that is my Training Talk Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys like this video, please link down below, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I would appreciate it tremendously. And leave me your comments. Tell me what you guys think. If you want to give me more suggestions for other things to talk about in future episodes, that'd be great. I think next week we'll talk about how to take this whole diet approach or this runner's diet approach and put it into weight loss and weight gain. We'll kind of talk about body composition, which I think will be interesting. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later.
Shook it up. Good morning, guys. It is Sunday, April 1st. It's Easter Sunday. It's April Fool's Day. I am on another low cycle and I am 1 week, that's 7 days, that's peak week, out from my competition. Today I'm going to take you through a full day of eating. It is super depletion mode right now because it is peak week. I am starting off my day with a decaf coffee like I always do, and I've been using this pip and nut almond milk. The reason I've changed up my milk is because this has 0 carbs in it. It's like 1.7 grams of fat per 100 ml and like no carbs, 0.8 protein. So I'll be having some of that because my carbs are super low right now. I am in depletion mode and I'm trying to volumize my food, and I'm not giving up my coffee for anything, and I do like a little bit of milk in my coffee. So as I said, it's Sunday. I woke up about 7:30. I do tend to wake up quite early when I am cutting. I don't know why that is. It's like my body just wants to be fed and it just wakes me up. I sleep quite well. I go to bed early and I always read before I go to bed. It's my way of relaxing. So I leave my phone downstairs. I don't bring phones. We don't have a TV in our bedroom. It is just pure relaxation before I go to bed, and that I feel helps me sleep really well. Now normally I might only read a page or two of my book before I fall asleep, and sometimes it can be a couple of chapters. The dogs are up. I just fed them. It's now 9 o'clock. I got up and I did my hair and makeup to try and look half decent for this video because I knew I was going to record all day. As I said, it's Easter Sunday, so I've got an Easter egg for Lex, and he is going to go and take his granddad out for Easter lunch with his mum, and I am going to opt out because even though I like to eat out still and have a normal social life when I'm prepping, I do find it a little bit difficult, especially coming up to the last week or two, and I just want to be very exact with my macros and know where I'm at so I can increase them and decrease them where necessary and just follow the plan from my coach Will. So I'm just still waiting on him to send through my peak week macros, so he just said to follow the same low day again today. So I think because we've depleted for the past 2 weeks, I think we're going to start building into the show day and start building up my carbs to try and fill me out a bit. I've been stuck at 110 pounds for the past couple of days. Now I'm not too worried because, you know, it is peak week and it is what it is. I'm not going to get stressed about my weight on the scales right now because I know I am looking really good. I'm probably looking the tightest and the best I've looked in any of my preps, just because my legs have come in a little bit better, although I still think there is room for improvement. Maybe not within this prep, but moving forward, if I do another competition after this competition, I think that if I keep working with Will, we will be able to get my body in a little bit better, and maybe with higher food, because my food is extremely low right now. I don't know if I'll ever be 100% happy. Lex thinks I'll never be 100% happy with my physique, but personally I feel like I will. When I get to that point where I see it as I want to see it, I will be 100% happy. I'm not unhappy with the body I'm bringing into my show, but at the same time I definitely feel that there is room for improvement in the future, and that's good because then it just drives me forward. If I was completely 100% happy, I think that would hold back me progressing further and setting myself new goals. So here is my decaf coffee with 50 ml of the pip and nut almond milk. I got this one from Sainsbury's I have on the side one of my protein cinnamon buns. They are super tasty and they have incredible macros. That is why I'm going to enjoy that with my coffee. Hot cross bun toasting. I'm going to put some lemon curd on it for Lex. Making him a cup of tea, and he has chocolate orange Easter egg. Because I don't like it, and he does.
Oh, hello. Why is it so cold?
Because it's Easter. Did you see what the Easter bunny brought you?
2 Terry's chocolate orange bars with a large orange chocolate egg. Ooh, the egg's orange.
Yeah.
Do you know what your Easter egg is? A BMW.
Why?
Because it's in the boot of my car.
That was stupid.
I was supposed to have a car back by now. And they kept it. And I just realised yesterday.
Worst bunny ever.
I did get you some other treats, but you can't have them.
I can have them, I just can't eat them.
Okay, well, I'll get you a side treat then.
Yay!
Full box of the Malteser Tasters, which is the best part of any celebrations box going.
Yeah, but where's the Malteser's egg?
I couldn't find it. I went looking for it.
Because I only told you about it yesterday.
I didn't even know it doesn't exist in England.
It does. That was a photo from a girl I follow on Instagram from Birmingham.
She's a liar, Lainey. She melted down Maltesers teasers and made her own egg.
Lex, they're your favourite thing from the celebrations box, not mine.
You wanted a Malteser's egg?
Yeah, I wanted the Malteser's egg.
Maltesers?
This is what happens when you marry someone who does everything last minute.
No, I went looking for the egg. It didn't exist.
When did you do it? Last night?
No, the day before.
Don't lie, Lex.
I'm telling you, it was a plain chocolate egg, and all you got was either 2 Malteser bars or bunnies. Even the big bunny egg was just plain chocolate egg.
No, it wasn't.
It was. I even opened one in the store to check.
Don't
That
lie.
was the big one, like that.
You two are watching you lying. Because all you're going to get is comments. Go to Lex's Instagram now and tell him that he's a lazy husband who didn't go and get his Easter egg on time.
I've got your egg. It's in the boot of my car. Do you want to know what it is?
No. I'm too mad now. I got you your favourite thing in the world. Hot cross bun with lemon curd and a chocolate orange egg.
I got you an equally sized egg.
Yeah, but I got mine weeks ago so that I get you what you wanted. You do realise my birthday is in 10 days.
I do.
You can't see me right now, but I'm looking really, really mad. No!
What? Stop being a crank.
Is this an April Fool's right now?
These are great.
They're your favourite thing!
You wanted a Malteser egg.
Egg!
What's the difference?
Egg!
It's the same thing. A Malteser egg that you showed me is that
So
with
not
bits
the
in
same
it. That's what it is. And that's the closest you can get.
No, the closest you can get is getting the egg!
It wasn't there.
Because he went yesterday, the day before Easter.
No, there were loads of Malteser eggs. There was no egg with the bits in it, like you were talking about. They were all plain chocolate egg.
Can't even eat it anymore. Hair is up. I have 2 coffees in my system, so I'm ready to go and hit up quads. This may be my last leg session before the competition next week. I'm not really sure. Normally I don't train legs or abs for the last 7 days before competition just because I don't want to have any inflammation around the muscle, and I usually just do upper body circuits just to get the blood pumping and flowing. So today is quad day.
Everybody put them drinks up, put them up. There's some left, you better drink up. Drink it on X. Oh, you wanna know why? Watch, cause we all gon' bounce. Now the sun gon' down. Don't say money cause we go all out. Say money. I know I'm gon' flex. Pull it back it on. We all gon' bounce. Now the sun gon' down. Don't save money cause we go all out. I know I'm gon' flex. Pull it back it on X. Yeah, back it on X like a biggie. Money, more problems, but I still make a million. I get a million out the bank, spend it on the drain, get the shots, go ahead, get tips. Keep it real, roll back the seat. Hold tight when you ride with me. Hold tight. Watch out. Yeah, we might get off the street. Go from left to the right, hit the curb like skirt. Never roll alone. Top down, heads out, bad bitch on the corner store. Why she over there? Pour the drinks that don't stop. Make it fucking rain for the girls who don't drop. Now we might just rage again. Get the shots in the Mary Jane. It's that stage again. Cause we go all night and we just don't sleep. No lifeguard, but we're going in deep. Let me see them hands now, where's my G's? And this shut down, you know me. She know me, I know you, I know we. Cause we all gon' bounce. Now the sun going down. Don't say money cause we go all out. I know I'm gon' flex. Pour it back it on. All gon' bounce. Now the sun going down. Don't save money cause we go all out. I know I'm gon' flex. Pour it back it on X.
So, because I did that on an empty stomach, I feel atrocious now. I actually feel like I could puke because I actually did 20 minutes of HIIT training at the end. I'm not really sure what my cardio targets are for this week, but I'm going to continue on like normal until I'm told otherwise. I'm just waiting for my peak week macros to come through. I'm kind of getting anxious now. I'm just like, just send them through, please. Please. But I'm going to go home now and do a physique update for you guys. A nice sweaty one. And then I'm going to make myself an egg white omelette for breakfast. And the dogs have been left by themselves, so hopefully they haven't destroyed the house.
Damn, that's me. Saffron sea, while I'm waiting for slim and the same basti. A same Pompeii, while a lot of laundry. Think I'm in Coachella with a crib in LA. Staring at the stage, singing sonnet, that's me. Bump that head when it's selling out seats, and I make them bands. Get my ass started with a pair like that. Man, I think I'm a dream. I'm a dreamer, now I wake up in the state that I've been doing too much. Other things on me to flourish, you ain't focused enough. You've been sorting out your life while I've been living at the car. Said I'm living at the car, yeah, I'm living at the I'ma get so wasted when I'm drinking out of Hennessy. Different look in 7 days, I'm trying to get that perfect week. Break a TV rockstar, last time I won, she's so proud of me. She's so proud of me, she's so proud of me.
Since I've done my posing, I've had a quick shower and changed into human clothes, as I like to call them. I don't know if I have... Oh, man. I want to make an omelette, obviously, but I usually put spinach in my omelettes, and I've no spinach left. So it will be a smoked salmon, mushroom, red onion, and I'm going to put some of these bad boys in, capers. I love them. And I'm going to add some egg whites, obviously, some of the Muscle Food Eat Lean cheese, which is like my savior, and some of this light appatina, and it's like a Greek kind of feta cheese, and it's really good in an egg white omelette. So I'm going to have that now. I'll make it. Now, how delicious does this look? We've got the smoked salmon, you can see the feta cheese, that's just some fresh basil, the egg whites and all the mushrooms and onions are in underneath. And then I'm going to top it with some of this bad boy. I've been getting through so many bottles of this in my prep. I still weigh it and everything, but it's just so good. Per 100 ml, it's only 3.7 grams of carbs. I'm probably going through about 2 bottles a week. So, we have 22 grams on my beautiful egg white omelette, which I'm going to eat now in probably about 2 seconds. Honestly, I devour my food. When I get it, I look forward to it so much. that it's like gone in seconds, not even minutes, seconds. My food is just gone, demolished. But it does make me appreciate my meals, and it does make me more inventive with my flavors and stuff, because obviously I'm limited in what I can add in. So I just add in loads of flavor, like loads of pepper, loads of onion, garlic, not too much chili, because chili can have a bit of an adverse effect on my tummy. So I won't go into details with that. I do add in a lot of, yes, stinky flavors. And the Blend Bros bottles, I am not in any way sponsored by Blend Bros. I just think they are awesome, and you can get them in Asda. So if you're looking for something to add to your food, they also have a barbecue, but definitely the sweet chili is my go-to. I love it. Yes, I did demolish my breakfast in record time, and now I'm having an oat milk cappuccino. If you haven't tried this, this is the Oatly, so it's like completely vegan, and they have a barista blend. I tried this when I was in Federal Bar Cafe. That's like my favourite place to go in Manchester for breakfast, and they use this Oatly barista blend milk, and it's so good in coffee. I don't know what it is, it's just try it. I think I picked it up in Sainsbury's, and they don't have it in stock that often. So per 100 ml, it's 3 grams fat and 6.5 grams of carbs. I'm going to have about 50 ml in my coffee now, so that will be 1.5 grams of fat and 3.25 grams of carbs. Yum, yum, yum. Makes me happy. It tastes so good. Thank me later for that. Afternoon snack, my cappuccino with my oat milk and a PhD bar. I'm going to be cutting out all polyols from tomorrow, just to give my body the best chance to look its best. One of my go-to snacks while on low carb days are these 10 cal jellies. Now this is a new flavour and it tastes so good. I don't know how they do it. I've had the lemon cheesecake and I've had the key lime pie one, and this one, if you like, Black Forest Gatto, it really does taste like it. I don't know how they do it. But like, there's so limited in what's in it, and it just helps quench like a sweet tooth. So in this, there's less than 0.1 gram of fat, 0.2 grams of carbs. There's nothing in it, so it's just amazing. So I'm just gonna have a protein coffee, and it's kind of like a frappuccino, but instead of obviously it being packed full of sugar and everything, it's packed full of protein. So in here I have 15 grams of chocolate protein powder, I've got 90 ml of the Pip and Nut almond drink, and some ice cubes, and I'm going to add a shot of coffee now, and then just blitz it up, and it'll be really tasty. End result, we have a yummy protein coffee, and this is just an easy way of getting extra protein in without having to have a shake if you don't like them. And obviously we've got coffee. This is like what I always have in the summer, even though it's due to snow today. I just felt like I kind of wanted a cold drink, and I wanted a coffee, and I needed some protein. I ticked all the boxes. One of my go-to afternoon snacks is one of the Taste chicken fillets. They are the perfect afternoon snack, and it is 1.4 grams of fat, 1 gram of carb, and 8.6 grams of protein per little fillet, and I get them for muscle food. I like the spicy ones. So I've got dinner in the microwave. I'm literally just microwaving up leftovers from last night. I just made double portions. So I have some butternut squash, some Brussels sprouts, some asparagus, some smoked haddock, and then I've got one of the cauli rice portions from Asda in the microwave as well, so they're just like a steam up little bag. And then I'm going to add in a Laughing Cow blue cheese triangle, some Parmesan cheese just to add some flavour, and add in a little bit of fat. And then I'm going to just make it up all in a bowl, mush it all together and eat it. As you can tell, I haven't had a lot to eat all day today, so after that then I just have one small snack left to eat, and I will probably just have a yogurt with some peanut butter on top to get my fats in. So here we have my big bowl of baby food, obviously topped with some of the Blend Bros, and It doesn't look too appetizing, but believe me, this is a very, very satisfying food. As I said earlier, I got Lex one of these chocolate orange eggs for Easter, and he doesn't want to eat it because he feels bad eating it in front of me. So I have pretty much tried to fit in one, now look how tiny it is, one of my little Easter bunnies from Laney's treat jar. Yeah, it's jam-packed. You can't actually fit anything more in there. There's like hazelnut chocolates, there's like little bueno things, there's peanut Lion bar, peanut Kit Kat. I like me some nuttiness, to be honest. And also I have some Bounty bars as well, because I really like coconut. I'm not going to be able to eat it all, so don't worry, I'm not going to overdo it. I just want to have a selection of stuff to enjoy after my competition and on my birthday, because my birthday is 2 days after the competition. And that is how I chose the competition that I am doing, because there are a lot of competitions coming up. But I've been dieting before on my birthday and it's made me pretty miserable. So this year I decided to just not be dieting for my birthday and be able to enjoy it. So I strategically chose my competition because it's 2 days before my birthday and I knew I'd be having a blowout after the competition, so why not coincide it with my birthday? If you've ever wondered how to choose a competition, that's how I did it this time. Now I'm going to have, before my Easter bunny, I'm going to have one of these yogurts. Now these are a new discovery. They're pretty much a vanilla quark yogurt and they're really high in protein. So per one of these, which are, how much are they? They're 150 grams. Yeah, 150 grams. It's 17 grams of protein. And there's only 5.3 grams of carbs and 0.3 grams of fat. So fat-free, low in carb, high in protein, and they're really tasty. But what I do is I top it with some of this, which is this Cocoa Suncrisp. To be honest, I think I ordered this by accident from Sucrin because I thought I was ordering actual cocoa to cook with, and I got this. And it kind of tastes like Cocoa Pops, but it has really good macros, and it's really good for on top of a yogurt because it makes kind of like a crunchy corner. And then to get my fats in, I'm going to have some of this Meridian. I think I'm allowed to have about 10 grams of this on top of my yogurt. So it's just kind of making a little bit of a flexy yogurt treat for the evening, and then having my tiny little Easter bunny. They're literally bite size. But I'm going to have this so that Lex will enjoy some of his chocolate orange. Here we have the end product. We have the yogurt with the cocoa crunch and the almond butter. My little Easter. Oh, I love you. So that is it. That is me done for the day with my macros. I hope you enjoyed this full day of eating. I have got my peak week macros through and my plan for the week, but I'm going to continue filming throughout the week, little bits and bobs every day, and then I will update you guys throughout the week. So wish me luck. Peak week is here. 1 week left to go. Make sure to hit the like button. Comment down below if you have any questions or any encouragement you want to give to me.
Cause if I only had 100 fans, I'd take them all to dinner, talk about the people that we used to be. If I had 100 fans, fly them all the parents, ain't nobody paying, I'd be buying the drinks. And we would party, and we would dance, and we would throw up all them hands until they turn to clouds. Yeah, I got you now. If I only had 100 fans. Life's too short to be an asshole.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Special treat today. I have a new podcast with the one and only Jim McD. We call it 50% Facts. Each episode we take one topic, one question, we dive in, and in the first part of that episode, me and Jim explore that question without doing any research. Second half of each episode, we bring in one of the world's leading experts to give us the facts, to give us the answers. And today, we got a little sample for it. If you guys like it, be sure to give this thing a thumbs up, subscribe. Check out 50% Facts on YouTube here at The Jim McD, and also on all platforms, iTunes, Spotify, anything you want. Link in the bio. Appreciate you. Have a great day.
So Mike and I had a discussion about a topic that just seems to always be hot, and that's keto. diets.
Yep.
And our feeling was this, that they have a place, but they're not a religion, and that there isn't anything magical about them. So share your thoughts and feelings on.
Yeah, my first exposure to you was one of the Google talks you did. And I not only loved how you spoke and ripped things apart because it made me laugh, but just like the style of video. I assume it's on your YouTube. Yeah, if people want to check it out.
Yeah, I think it's on my YouTube, or actually, I know Google has it up on Talks at Google.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. You just sit there, and he has a big whiteboard behind him. And these are maybe non-fitness people. At least they're not in the industry. Yeah. And you're just taking questions, suggestions, terms, gimmicks that people have heard. You write them up, and then you just scratch them off. Not only the list on the board, but people's minds of what may or may not work. And so, yeah, keto. What are your thoughts? What are maybe some applications? And why is this stupid thing so popular over the internet right now?
Well, I love that you guys called it, like, I think it was Jim. I think you said it was like a religion. Like I feel like that's how people treat keto. Like, it's a fucking religion. And listen, if somebody's keto, they'll fucking tell you right away they're keto. Yeah. Like, you know, like you see like the memes. It's like, yeah, like, hey, nice to meet you. My name's Jason and I'm keto. Like, I don't like. I think, you know, if I look at it, so. I think I make the statement before, but I remember one time on like a muscular development magazine, this was right after keto was really popular in the bodybuilding world, probably 12, 13, 14 years ago when like Dave Palumbo was really popular. You know, then all of a sudden George Farrow was like the guru, and the headline on the magazine was "Carbs are back." And I'm always like, where the fuck did carbs go? Like, it's not like as a macronutrient they fucking disappeared. And you know, so right now I think like we're just in this phase, and if you just look at like dietary advice in the world, it's very cyclical. And so right now keto's super hot, then it'll be carb cycling again, then it'll be high carb, low fat, then it'll be fucking vegan, and then keto will make another, you know, come around. But if you look at the beginning of this craze, you actually look at like there's some MLMs that, you know, started producing the exogenous ketones, and so that's, you know, anytime MLM happens, I mean, you look at like Visalis had their run, and then you look at Beachbody had their run, and you know, now you've got like the Prove It's of the world that are backed by, you know, like one of the owners is like Russell Brunson, who's one of the best marketers in the fucking world. And so, you know, it's backed by like a lot of really good marketing hype, and so people just buy into it. You know, from the outside looking in, it's super simple, like, let me eat eggs and bacon all day. And I don't really think 99% of people that claim to be keto even understand what keto is. I mean, like, when we look at it from application standpoint, it should in theory be like 70% fat, 25% protein, and 5% carb. But most people are like eating so much fucking protein, you know, moderate amounts of fats and no carbs, which is not always keto. I mean, research is somewhat conflicting that, you know, whether or not excess protein in a keto setup can contribute to knocking you out of ketosis. Most people will tell you yes. I just read literature that actually refutes that, so I don't want to, you know, make a blanket statement either way. But the popularity, I just think, is in like, you know, there's some ease of application. I mean, just remove a you know, a whole macronutrient, but let's just be honest. Anytime the average person removes carbohydrates, they're not counting calories, they're not counting macros. You remove a whole macro from them, what did you do? You created a calorie deficit. Are they going to lose weight? Of course they're going to fucking lose weight. Like, it's not rocket science. The same as intermittent fasting. Like, tell someone to stop eating for 6 hours. Okay, so they didn't eat their cupcakes at 8 a.m. They still ate their cookies at 10 p.m., but those cupcakes that are no longer counted in their calorie deficit or in their you know, calories in versus calories out is creating a deficit. So of course they're losing weight. Like, it's there's just nothing magical about it. You know, you've got some zealots that have gotten behind it. But then you dig into literature and you start to see like long-term effects, and you see its application in current training protocols, and you actually see it becoming more detrimental than good. And so I'm not really a huge fan of keto in most applications.
When you say more detrimental than good, what particular things are you referring to?
Yeah, so I mean, agree or disagree, like Western, or, you know, like current training modalities are at their all-time high relative to intensity.
Yep.
Right. I think we can all agree on that. Like in 2019, training today is more intense than most. I mean, we're seeing a lot of support in literature for more volume, but you know, there's very high intensity training proponents, and then of course there's the CrossFit influence on the world. There's the metabolic conditioning influence on the world, and so you're just starting to see a lot of these things.
all of those training intensities become glycolytic, right? At some point, like higher intensity training, metabolic conditioning, it's glycolytic activity. Period. The end. Like we can't like dispute that. That's fueled by fucking carbohydrate. And there's not anything in the ketogenic diet that's going to support fuel from that or recovery from that. And then you take that and you put it into a setting in Western culture today where, you know, things are like stress is at an all-time high. You know, we're just stressed out as individuals. There's more traffic on the road. There's, you know, we're sleeping less. We're over caffeinating. We are, you know, just as human beings, we're trying to do more. Like there's this hustle and grind culture that exists in 2019. And so you take that with, you know, an inability to really create a parasympathetic shift. And all of a sudden you have a recipe for disaster with the ketogenic application to higher intensity modalities.
Another topic we're going to cover in another podcast is kind of health versus performance. So I don't want to go too deep into that, but what's maybe some applications of keto? You know, I think we see, as I think you agree with us and have seen also, like Instagram, YouTube, obviously one of the biggest influences on fitness culture right now. And a lot of these people that maybe have a lot of muscle or lift a lot of weight are now saying that they eat ketogenic style diets, and I tend to agree with you. I think 90 to 99% of these people actually aren't eating that style diet, and they aren't doing it for a long term, but that's a different topic for a different day of what people post and what they actually live. What are some maybe applications of keto that you might see? Is it a health thing? Is it a weight loss thing? Is it, you know, like you said, I think there's fewer applications than people think. It's not a broad stroke, but there are some applications, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we were to look at anybody that, you know, again, let's go back to like the whole Charles Poliquin statement of earn your carbohydrates. Well, even that is, you know, somewhat misspoken. Like if we use that as a foundation of understanding, like where do carbohydrates fit in? First of all, carbs are a non-essential nutrient, and any keto zealot will fucking tell you that right away. Well, you don't need carbs to live.
It's the one macro we don't need.
We're not disputing that. Yep. Listen, we get it. Like you don't need it. That doesn't mean it's not optimal, and it doesn't mean you also don't need the fucking resistance train in your life, yet you can continue to do it.
Yeah.
So let's not go down.
You don't need to shave your body head to toe and tan either.
Right. Exactly. So there's a lot of things that don't need to be done yet. You continue to do them, so it's a horrible argument, right? But if we look at that as like a base statement and we say, okay, who needs carbohydrates? So anybody undertaking glycolytic activity, anybody that wants performance enhancement, anybody looking to, for those things. Then we look at people that are not training, people that just want to live longer. Well, research supports the fact that a ketogenic diet would be helpful, right? There's anti-inflammatory benefits that have been shown from it. We know that inflammation is the one biomarker linked directly to longevity. So anytime you're trying to control inflammation, a keto diet is going to work great. Anybody that maybe there's some pre-diabetes going on, a keto diet's a great start. Now, I will say my stance on that has changed. I used to say like that would be the place you definitely go. I think there's a short-term application there. I think longer term, you should be working to actually build insulin sensitivity to tolerate carbohydrates. Some people will dispute me on that, but I can back that one up pretty good. Again, like now I literally right before I talked to you guys, I was on a podcast with a guy that was telling me in his off season of bodybuilding, he's eating 800 grams of carbs a day. I would want to be testing like blood glucose there and making sure that, while you might need that to make your quote unquote gains, at some point you have to be looking at your insulin sensitivity and your blood glucose. And so, a brief ketogenic phase to bring that insulin sensitivity back up, bring the blood glucose down, would be advisable. So really those are the main applications. The one that I want to just straight up fucking bash is ketogenic in aerobic sports. I'm so fucking tired of hearing the aerobic people be like, keto this, keto that. Like, when you understand physiology at a certain level, yes, aerobic exercise is primarily fueled by fats. And so anybody that claims to be completely aerobic can get away on a ketogenic diet. That being said, aerobic athletes, like the key word there is athlete, not aerobic, at some point they are going to hit threshold, meaning whether it's anaerobic threshold or in their case, aerobic threshold. Aerobic threshold is primarily fueled almost solely by carbohydrate. And so when that carbohydrate's not available, now all of a sudden you're starting to have a massive cortisol response. Well, initially that cortisol response is great, which is why a lot of these aerobic athletes see success short-term on the ketogenic diet, but long-term they begin failing and they begin getting worse. Well, prolonged having an abundance of cortisol elevation is only going to smash your HPA axis, which is extremely difficult to recover from. So, these athletes are highly misinformed, saying that they're only using fat for fuel. Well, they might be predominantly in their aerobic setting, but as soon as you're competing, you're in a setting where you need carbohydrate. Like it's, and there's so many studies that show that. Like you look at like Ben Greenfield, when he did Volek's 90% fat keto diet, he did really well in the Ironman, but then he fucking tested his hormone levels. They were complete shit. So, you start to look at like, what are the real effects? Like a lot of people are using keto in like an N=1 situation, and they're not showing prolonged application, which is really where the real research should be done.
And like you said, like if carbs aren't hindering your performance and they may add to your performance a little bit, why wouldn't you get the extra calories in? Plus, they fucking taste good. So just like logically, you break down.
Who the fuck? Yeah. Who doesn't want a carbohydrate the rest of their life?
Yeah.
Like seriously. I will never meet one person that it's like, listen, that piece of cake doesn't look good. Of course it does. Or you're a lying bastard, like either one is okay if that's what you want to do with your life. But at the end of the day, at some point, most people are going to desire a carbohydrate. Gender specific too, there's another fault. And I don't want to just bash keto, but I think it's important that people understand, in my experience, especially with physique athletes and people that are in calorie deficits pursuing fat loss, females don't have as resilient of metabolisms as males. And I think it goes back to hormone profile behind that. But if you're taking carbohydrates away from females for a prolonged period of time, we're starting to see compromises in insulin sensitivity. So you see girls going keto and then having an extremely difficult time reintroducing carbohydrates, let alone calories, right? Which is, hey, you might look good on the keto diet for 12 weeks, but long-term on the keto diet, you've completely fucked yourself up. Like, that doesn't sound good to me. So there's just a lot of things that I think people need to be aware of when they're undertaking something as extreme as keto.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, hormone profile, it's something we mentioned, me and Jim talked about, is that some of these people on the influence side of things, Instagram, whatever, even on the stage, magazines, etc., probably are taking some type of hormones, performance-enhancing drugs, and then they're backing up these ketos or whatever diet or whatever supplement or whatever results. But the people following these influencers, whatever, I don't even know what to call these people in 2019. The world's getting weird, man. Yeah, these people, well, all of it's fucking weird. I don't know what I even do for a living, but the people that follow these bodybuilders or influencers, fitspo folk, they're most likely are not competitive or competitors, and then they may not be on these performance-enhancing drugs. So these hormones obviously play a role in your metabolism, how much muscle you can gain, how much muscle you can spare in a diet. And they're just not maybe being as honest as they should, saying which ratio of keto and what ratio of PEDs maybe played a role in their success.
And we look too at the population of people who are trying to compete in things, aesthetic stuff or strength stuff or CrossFit or whatever. But the low-hanging fruit of all this are people who are overweight and sedentary. And I think that the deal is that some of these people try a keto diet and they drop a bunch of water weight initially. And so they get that sort of, oh, wow, I can actually lose weight, that sort of confidence from it. And then I think that for some of those people, that's kind of where it turns into the religion, because nothing's ever worked before. And so this is working for them now.
And they're definitely, like, I don't want to sound like a zealot to, when I'm going against all the zealots that I believe exist in the space, but it's like, there are definitely applications. And listen, there are definitely people with sluggish metabolisms that have, insulin sensitivity issues that just naturally don't tolerate carbohydrates well, where keto might be an application for them to achieve the goals they're trying to achieve. This whole conversation could be preceded by another conversation of just understanding what your goals really are. Right. I think a lot of people, and like you said, like, we're going to do another podcast on performance and health, and a lot of people claim, oh, look at the health benefits of keto. Yes, they are out there. They cannot be disputed. But yet you're now saying, well, it's making me healthier, so I'm performing better at CrossFit. Like, no, I'm going to tell you long term, you will not be healthier, number one, because you're doing CrossFit, but number two, because you're fucking not fueling CrossFit with carbohydrates or recovering from them with carbohydrates. So while you might see short term, and there's actually scientific reasons why that works, but long term, it will completely fuck you up.
Yeah, and it seems like people just don't really read and plan around massive changes like that. You know, like changes in diet and changes in exercise and all. There's just like no real thought that goes into it, and so there's no plan for not being keto someday, or not, or reintroducing some calories at some point, some extra calories for whatever reason. There's just no plan in general.
Well, Western culture as we know it lives in today. We don't ever really think. I mean, people overspend money today. They don't think about the ramifications of today's actions relative to tomorrow. I mean, so there's a lot of fundamental issues, but diet definitely extends into that, and and that's keto and otherwise. I mean, I would again, using the example of somebody consuming 700-800 grams of carbs a day. If you're not thinking at some point you might need a keto phase to control your insulin sensitivity, that's sadly mistaken as well. So I think a lot of, and we call it nutritional periodization, but a lot of people just very much live in the current phase. It's we're recording this the end of April, so a lot of people are getting ready to diet for the summer, and I guarantee a lot of people are thinking of using the keto diet to diet for the summer. But let's consider the fact that you're going to go 12 to 14 weeks without any carb.
We lost you.
Show up on vacation where you're going to consume. Oh, can you hear me? You're going to show up on vacation where you're going to consume nothing but alcohol and carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And after 3 to 4 months of no carbs, then you do that for a week of only alcohol and carbs. How do you think your body's going to respond to that?
Pure muscle.
100, dude. Gains, man. All about the gains. So yeah, I mean, it's people don't think at all about long-term anything.
So just kind of to nutshell this thing, short-term strategy, good for some people with specific health conditions. Have a plan.
Always have a plan.
Yeah.
Always have a long-term, like, periodized plan, right? So even if you're pursuing fat loss as it is today, you need to have an exit strategy from your current diet. And then, once you've exited that, you need to say, okay, am I even in a place where I could potentially diet again? Like, Mike, I know you're going through your diet, right?
Trying to get
coming
shredded,
out
bro.
of that, I guarantee you'll have, dude, I'm trying to get shredded like you.
Bro, you're jacked. If you guys need to go to his Instagram, this guy's jacked. He doesn't just talk the talk. There's a lot of nutritionists.
You're just going to disappoint a lot, of people, man. They're going to go to my Instagram and be like, Mike is completely full of shit.
Wrong username.
Yeah, dude. People are going to say, like, yeah, I'm going to start posting pictures of you on my account. And maybe people believe
Prepare to lose followers.
But no, it's, yeah, I mean, every dietary phase you go through has to be periodized. And we talk about this in the context of literally everybody we work with, whether you're a professional athlete, whether you're a weekend warrior wanting to get lean, whether you want to live forever. There has to be some sort of flow and some sort of evolution to what you're doing. And if that's not built into your plan, then you need to talk to somebody that understands that concept.
Yeah, I think advice, I mean, obviously, if you have the money, always getting some kind of coach. And it is difficult, again, another discussion for another day, to find a qualified or good coach, but any kind of guidance is often better than because you have weird discussions with yourself. I even do. I've been in this thing for 12 years and I still think like, shit, man, maybe I should do some keto. Like everyone's getting results on keto. Fuck.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, dude, I literally just started my diet on Monday, and I was like, maybe I need to start like super low carb for the first 2 weeks. And I've coached tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And so, like, stupid shit still goes through my head.
Yep.
It's human nature, right? I mean, I think that we see the media and the propaganda around us, and here we are, three people that have been in the industry, that understand the industry and understand the bullshit messaging behind a lot of it, yet we are still influenced by it.
Yep.
If we're influenced, like, think about the people that don't have our knowledge and don't have our experience. Of course they're getting hit with it.
Yeah, we get it. Jason, appreciate you, man. Appreciate the time. Where can people find you?
Yeah, dude. Instagram at JasonPhillips_IN3 or online, in3nutrition.com.
Awesome.
Best two places.
Awesome. Thanks so much.